perhaps no one knows. We're going head into the unknown.
Hey everybody, how are you? How's everybody? What day am I, right? So some of you guys are talking about snow. We have a lot of snow. It is cold here. Cold, cold. Wait, okay, well, let's just so my message out to my mods. Oh, my volume, just give me a sec. My message out to my mods this morning or earlier was based on like a potential guest that I'm having. So it's nothing cryptic, nothing like that. I just, and I think it's a good idea to meet with mods anyways to go over kind of, what to expect, expectations, that kind of stuff. So it's not a big deal. I just didn't know how to reach you guys outside of the chats. So I need a place to be able to send a link so that we can have like a mod meeting. So that's all it was about. If you talk to me already in Messenger or anything like that, you don't have to worry about reaching out to me about this. It was just so that I can have a way to contact you when and if we do need to have that meeting. So let's say hellos. I'm going to say hi to all the mods because, there's a lot of you in here. Purposely, I have a lot of mods because no shit ever allowed here. So, hey, Blue Jay and Carrie, Gaspigo, good to see you. I don't know that I've seen you here before. Thanks for coming. Hey, Marie and Carrie, I've seen. Hey, Spice, good to see you. Hey, Sue and Carol and Allison. Hey, Mary. Harvey's here. He's just outside the door. He just came in covered in snow. Hey, Blue Jay. And Christy, great to see you. Hey, Henry, Al. I guess people are calling you Al. Learn more by just listening. You might want to have your screen on today because we're going to look at some things and I want everybody's opinion. I did watch Shenanigans live today. She's where I was at a couple of weeks ago, just pissed, just over it, done. So yeah. And Nova, it's good to hear Nova's voice again. Hey Betty, Christy, Addie V, and Wolfie, great to see you. Thanks for being here. Hey Donna, and Andrina, nice to see you. Very snowy in Cape Breton, is it? Bet you it's beautiful though. It's so pretty there. Bucket list stuff. Cabot Trail, bucket list. Timbit Taliban, that's funny. What did Carrie say? Was Chrissy on? No, Chrissy was not on. Okay. I didn't think so. Hey, Grey Wolf. Diesel Weasel, good to see ya. And Robin, hi. And I'm trying not to miss anybody. Hey, Tens, Tease Weasel, Ori. It's going to be a good old-fashioned winter here. Yuck. Yuck. Hey, Gren. Kimber. Anybody else? Oh, hi, Kent. Go plowing snow. Tara, great to see you. Yeah, I made it. Go live. Hi, everyone. Praying for answers. That's all we want. Matt Catter, great to see you. Hey, Nancy and Crystal. It's me, Maritime Girl. Char didn't seem happy last night. Yeah. Especially when, like, it's hard to, sometimes the line between information and drama can be blurry. And, I like to dance on that line some days, but usually when I do that, I become really bitchy. And, Scotia Lee, I'm thankful you're feeling better too. Thanks for being here. And anybody else? Jeannie, great to see you. Hi. No here on Wednesday, 15 centimeters. Carrie Bailey, great to see you. Hey, CJ. Frozen Hades here on the Isthmus. Isthmus. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Hey, Ben from Cornwall, UK. Wow, what's the weather like over there? Hey, Tiger Girl. And Julie, hi. Jackie, great to see you. This cold, flu, cough, sore throat thing, it comes and then it goes and it comes and it goes. I'm feeling it again. Taking me off. So, yes, and Gren is one of the ones that I do have contact with, so I'm not too worried about it. If you do contact me, you know, outside of YouTube chats, you have nothing to worry about as long as I know where to reach you if and when we need to have that meeting. Okay. Hey, Susan. On Salt Springs Island, no snow here. Lucky. Bobby Joe, great to see you. Hey, Darlene. Bernice, good to see you. Hi, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Very stormy, bad here in Cape Breton. But like I said, it's probably beautiful. Hey, Hustler. Oops. See, that's how easy it can happen. I clicked on the wrong area and I almost hid the Hustler and I didn't mean to. So it happens. And closer to you, Donna. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Anybody else? Denise Berry. Hey, Brian. Susan. That cheese is wonderful. What cheese? I missed something. I'm literally going as fast as I can. Oh, it's stormy in UK. Chemistry. Good to see you from Louisiana. Wow. Bet you your accent is delightful. Casey Legal. Tambourine. Great to see you. That's what I've been fighting in my ears. Yeah, it's weird and it won't go away fully, but then it won't come out right away. Like it won't come out fully. It just kind of lingers and then it ticks me off. Um, I would rather not, Johnny. I would rather not say a very tenuous situation right now, so we'll see how it goes. Joy, just gonna leave it at that. It's no offense. I just don't want to offend you by butchering your name. Hello from BC, Canada. Thank you for being here. And Breaking Beats, great to see you. By the way, Shar, thank you for last night saying I wasn't. Oh, sure thing. And it's easy to do, especially when chat is moving fast and you're trying to catch somebody and you click on the wrong person and you just get looking for them. Like it happens. It happens. So And anybody else? Tammy, great to see you. Hey, Snarky Pants. See, just happened. I went to click on Snarky Pants. Ooh, ooh. Shelby, great to see you. I think I'm at the bottom. That's disgusting, Blue Jay. I hope you're not, I hope you're not sick. So I was sent a picture yesterday, just, and I mean, when you guys see it, you're gonna be like, so, but then something was we realized something in the picture, and I'm gonna look at it, but then it made me start looking harder. And I reached out to our good friend Melissa with American Justice, who built that monstrous, fantastic document. Because if you want something analyzed, if you want good, solid feedback, Melissa is your huckleberry. That's who you're going to go to. Um, and so Melissa and I sat and we looked at this for a long time, and we both came to the conclusion that, you know what, it is what it is, and I think that it would be well, I don't think we should ignore it. And I'm trying to decide which video to play first. I want to play Malaya's interview. I don't want to play that whole 45-minute thing on Hunter S. True Crime, but I know early on he did um like the interview with Malaya, like the news one, the only one that we've seen. So I want to play that before we get into the photo. Okay. So let me just oh geez, before I forget, you guys, the whole thing, and I was freaking out because the blood-soaked sweater, and I showed that picture and all that stuff. My bad, it was the bloody sweater. It is kind of a word salad a little bit, but when I'm wrong, I will admit I'm wrong. She did not say the blood-soaked sweater, she said the bloody sweater, and I would still argue that it is not a bloody sweater. It was still not accurate. So that's I said that I would correct myself, and I did. Okay? The bloody sweater. It is what it is. Corrected myself. It is, and I mean, it's important. Words matter. They do. They sure do. But I still have yet to hear anybody say that, okay, it wasn't a bloody sweater. But I mean, I'll own my mistakes. Not a problem. Okay, so we're going to listen just to refresh our memories. We are going to, hey Voodoo and Laddie and New Brunswick, and yes, ma'am, and everybody else that came in. I'm sorry I missed you. Okay, we are going to listen to Malaya, her interview again on Hunter S. True Crime, and then we are going to get into the photo that Melissa and I probably studied way too much last night. So let's do this, okay?
I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them. And I want them home.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Okay. All right. I don't know what happened. I didn't touch anything. Whatever. Okay. I'm gonna try the video again.
I'm just staying as hopeful as possible. I want them home. I want to hold them, and I want them home. What happened was we woke up, I heard them playing in the next room beside us, and I was drifting in and out of sleep. And they're not the type of kids that we tell them not to go outside on their own. We always make sure that we're out there with them, watching them. And they happen to just get out that sliding door, and we can't hear it when it opens. And they were outside playing, but we weren't aware of it at the time. And the next thing we knew, like it was quiet. And we get up, and I tell him, my partner, Daniel, I tell him, "Do you hear the kids?" And he says, "No." And we get up instantly. We're looking outside. We're looking everywhere, yelling for them. And I instantly just call 911. I just had the instinct I needed to call. They're both really go-lucky children. They're so sweet. They talk to anyone. They'll talk your ear off. They will speak to anyone in a store. Everyone. They're just extremely sweet kids. I appreciate the huge search effort going on right now, but we've been pushing for an Amber Alert, which hasn't been issued. Not just that they could possibly be abducted, which it is a possibility that they could have been, but just an alert to let everyone know that they are missing. We had people text me saying that they weren't aware, someone else let them know that they were missing, and it would just be nice if everyone could be alerted. We thought maybe that we found tracks, but it's still uncertain. It's been raining and they're probably soaking wet, but with the sun today, I'm hopeful that they are feeling warm. We're all filled with pain and sorrow because we just want them found. We want them home. Everyone loves them. They are definitely verbal, and they do have possible autism, but it's not extreme autism. It's just they have issues with school, and they don't catch up with the other kids. I just want to remain hopeful, but there's always, in a mother's mind, you're always thinking the worst. Last night was one of the worst nights because I didn't have them in their beds, and I don't want to go through that another night without them.
The last few days have been very stressful. I mean, ever since the Friday morning when we noticed that the children were gone.
I don't know that we need to listen to Daniel. What do you think? I don't know about that. I mean, if you want to, we can. The scar being flared up might be a little bit interesting to look at. Like, you guys let me know what you think. Once I show what I'm going to show and we start talking about what we're going to talk about. So again, I was sent a picture to look at, and I did. And as I was looking, I noticed something. This one will do. There's a few of them, right? Here we go. Can I make this bigger? Make this smaller, maybe? Man, for somebody that works on a computer for make my living, I'm sure Twit. Is that big enough? Or maybe if I open it as a photo. That's better. Let me get rid of this and then share it again. I apologize. That's what? Man, this has got to be painful on your end. All right. Apologize. All right. Look at this. Man, Malaya looks sad for sure. So we're studying this picture and something stood out because over here we have what looks like a smear of a brownish red type substance. Who knows? Could be deck stain. Who knows? But that over there, it's not so clear here, but it is definitely dried blood. It looks like her earring got caught on something and was bleeding pretty good, because if you get a clearer picture, like on your own phones or something, you zoom in, there's actually dried blood inside. Like it was pretty good. Like it was a pretty good bleed. So after seeing that, and I was like, oh my God. And like I said, I was talking to Melissa and I started looking at other images of Malaya during that same interview, you guys. I did, Ray. A straight on shot of Malaya. And like I said, I want your opinion because there's no guarantee that I'm seeing what I'm seeing, and you know, it is what it is. But when you really start to look at her, you start to see some shit. Some troubling shit. Like, I'm not photoshopping any of this stuff. It doesn't look like a shadow to me in here. You guys see that? We're so busy looking at the bruises on poor little Jack and maybe Lily. I don't think we ever thought to look at Malaya. And it just made me start to think that, you know, Daniel started saying towards before he had taken, stepped away from social media, that Malaya was the abusive one. And that's all I could think about last night. And like I said, these pictures they're not as clear for you guys. I can see it as they are for me. So I suggest you go and pull them up for yourself and look at what I'm looking at here, because the more you look, the more you see. And does it mean that they're bruises from abuse? See, down in here. Down in here. So anyways, I started wondering if what I had heard early on, and Sunny did put it out, that there was an argument regarding, you know, some text messages and maybe some infidelity on the Thursday. Yes, on the Thursday, if it escalated into a fight, it's hard to say. But and I wasn't going to put. I was like, this can't go on YouTube. This can't. But then overnight, I started thinking, why shouldn't it go on YouTube? Why would I be the only one who gets to look at this and think, what does any of this mean? So I truly, truly want your opinions. And there's a couple other ones that Melissa found when she started really looking at it. And I want to show that one because it's straight on. Some of you are saying, you know, her cheek, this and that. And is it this one? Okay, it's this one that I wanted to show. And I'm gonna share the screen for this one because I mean I don't know. I don't know what this one is. That's not it. Facebook. Maybe this one. Bizarre. All right. Maybe if I do this, maybe, possibly. It's not much better. But anyways, up here she had marked, and then there's a mark on her neck. However, I think that just might be acne. But if we're, we have always been very critical, I think, of Daniel, but also of Malaya. And I'm not here to defend Malaya, but is this somehow, I don't even know, it's not excuses, it's not, but can we listen to that video with a different context now that we've seen this? And do you guys think these are bruises? Hey, Chelsea? Her face does, and I mean a lot of girls that wear a lot of makeup, I know they have skin issues. And we know that no matter what we saw on that interview, Malaya was upset, right? We heard from many people that she was crying in the ambulance, crying in the house. We've also heard that she was very flat, very non-emotional. That could be shock, but it made me wonder if we haven't, I don't know, what's the point, you guys? But I was shocked when I seen it. You start digging in and you start zooming in on all different angles. There doesn't seem to be anything on the other side, but the ear thing and what it's possible that on that railing was the littlest amount of blood, maybe, possibly, who knows, might have been nothing, deck stain, but it does make me wonder, where is that photo? I don't know. What do you guys think? Yes, I think the one on her neck under her chin looks like a bruise that's been fading. Does she get hives when she cries? Maybe. When she is sitting down, that mark on her neck doesn't look like hives to me. Shocker is she using? Not a clue. We don't know anything about her, really. The only reason I can think why she wouldn't tell RCMP is because she's been threatened. wouldn't tell RCMP what? We don't know what she's told the RCMP. Right, and I think you need to go and find these pictures for yourself and have a look. Obviously obviously, it's going to be it would have to be, like, it's screenshotting that video because that's where this comes from, but the news media outlet did have some still shots of her, so just, you know, um, fight or flight, absolutely. Like, I don't know, you guys, it makes everything you look at things differently when you have more information, and I thought if something had happened Thursday and there was some kind of an altercation, physical altercation, um, uh, could it somewhat explain her interview behavior? Maybe? Or she's in on it? Mhm. Could also be bruising from restraining either he being restrained or her restraining fighting with someone. Yeah, defensive defensive. I can't really clear the picture to say it's anything myself. I thought the side of her face was acne. No, absolutely. I agree. I agree the side of her face does look like acne for sure, but the neck that I showed does not. I don't think somebody said unbathed or something. That's a lot of unbathing. I don't know. And it's not like her entire neck. Like I've seen people like that and they have creases and they don't always clean so it gets discolored and stuff. This is not that, in my opinion. And the information that Shenanigans came out with today so Sunny and I played Brad Wong's voice clip, basically saying that the blanket and sweater belonged to his daughter. It was in their burn pit. We saw where the burn pit was, but he said, "That's not my bath mat." Now, somebody took that bath mat and wrapped it up nice and neatly with the sweater and the blanket and placed it on Brian Ward's property. I mean, that wasn't an animal, that wasn't the wind, it wasn't a flood. It doesn't, like, common sense doesn't lead you to believe any of that as a fact. So if there was something, like, who would be the one that would want to cause a distraction? That tells me that probably nothing in that wrapped up blanket has anything to do with Jack and Lily's disappearance. Probably. Sorry, but my feelings say Daniel has abused the kids and Malaya too. I have been losing a lot of sleep. And put Daniel, come forward and put your hands behind your back. For sure, she seems shocked and anxious and teetering on disassociation in the picture of her sitting down. If she was being abused. Yes, this still showed bad skin. And like I said, that's pretty common for women who wear makeup. Makeup clogs your pores and it causes that kind of shit. I clearly see the redness on her ear and the bruising on her neck. And if you get the picture yourself and look at that ear, it's not just redness, it is blood. It is dried blood. 100% dried blood. But wait, there's more. Not to do with these potential bruises. Wasn't he into rough sex? Uh, I don't know. I think she was suffering with domestic violence postpartum, and Daniel had her so mapped up she became an addict. I mean, maybe, but that's a whole lot of alleged, in your opinion. They're both in on it, even though they split, and you would expect one to try to sink the other one. They both know they both go down. Maybe. I think Daniel knew she wanted out 2 weeks earlier, and getting a car and grandma helping her get clothes clean and plates for the car threw Daniel into going back tizzy. Tower moment. Thanks for being here, Vicky. It's a wild thing to think about, but I think it's not. I think it's possible. I think it's possible, but I don't want to. I don't want to think any of this. I really don't. Canadian cat lady, good to see you. Now she could be having reality now that she's sober and don't have the kids around. Well, something finally cracked, right? We've heard that she is getting help for her mental health. So something something got there. I would agree that it means nothing because the blanket has not been out there for long. Nothing related to Jack and Lily's disappearance. 100%. I agree with you, but how did it get there? If Brad Wong says that the blanket and shirt are his and they were in his burn pit, how did some random bath mat get in there? Did you miss her bloody ear? Char watched Eller's video in the last couple of days, thought they all got taken from the get-go. The kids? Dylan, Jack, Lily. Patty thought Jack was being abused. That's what I think. They're both getting in on it. Mm. Daniel was upset. He said in her interview, my partner, he doesn't understand that's better boyfriend. He didn't stand up and marry her. Well, what he told me about that is like that she never uses that wording. That wording is odd for her. I can't see any scenario where Malaya wasn't involved in the disappearance, just my opinion though. Hey Heather, Malaya reminds me of a battered and depressed woman. She looks like she's lost all hope and is done. That's just my opinion of what I've always seen. I'm like 20 minutes behind Love and Light to All. Thanks for being here. Yet they both passed polygraphs and left no trace of wrongdoing. Both who? Oh, Daniel and Malaya? They were truthful, yes. In my opinion, it was a warning saying I can get at you if you don't back off. In my opinion, items found. How so? You connect those dots for me? It's like everyone is trying so hard to not point fingers at the drug business shit that's happening. Mm, not me. New Brunswick, I vehemently disagree. I think the only one of the three that could be completely innocent of whatever happened is Malaya. Man, it sucks that she's been so quiet, but I don't, at this point, blame her. And if it's true that she is in a facility for mental health, I mean, the human mind can only take so much. And I mean, who knows what she's going through internally? Her interview sounds scripted. I always thought that her interview, it wasn't scripted. Scripted is not the right word, but she was telling events as though she heard them herself, but not her own memories. You know what I mean? Like, why in the world would anyone believe Brad Wong? Why in the world would Brad Wong admit that that blanket and sweater is his? It's a better question for you. You don't see blood? All right. Did we show Ron Mexico the blood? And just, I mean, again, I don't enjoy this shit. I think I closed them though. Whatever. I'm gonna share this one so I can zoom in for Ron Mexico. Which one? Which one? This one. This one. Oh, wrong screen. So confusing. Right. And like I said, go get your own copies of these pictures on your phone, and you will see dried blood all around here, and quite a bit of it, right? And I'm not saying like, you know, this earring was obviously ripped down. You can actually see that. But the blood is dried all up in here and in the crease and stuff. You need to go and get your own on your phone where you can zoom in. It's what if the blood on her ear is from a head injury from Daniel? Possible to lose consciousness. I mean, it does look like it's related to this earring. I mean, something happened to that earring. It was ripped. And like I said, when you zoom in for yourself, you can see where it ripped. But how? But like I said, when you look at this and then you start getting other still shots from that interview and you start zooming in and looking, like her neck is very disturbing to me. And then like the lip looks like it has an old abrasion. It's just, you know, it's possible. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And I just, I wasn't going to share it, but I thought, why wouldn't I ask everybody else? Because maybe I'm seeing things. Maybe it's nothing, but maybe it's something, you know? Chelsea, in my opinion, the bruise and blood in her ear are from a hit. The ear gets folded over by the earring holes and causes it to bruise and bleed. Sometimes they'll bleed for days. That was my thought. And honestly, that's the only reason why I started looking everywhere else on her face and neck and arms. Run Mexico, run Mexico, be on time if you want to be here. They don't want to look at this stuff more than once. Can happen from somebody. I mean, it can happen from like numerous different things, but I think we can all agree that something happened unintentionally, and um, I thought that too. I thought that too, and then I thought maybe Jack or Lily inadvertently caught their little finger in it or something. Something happened. At the very least, something happened for that. You're welcome, Hustler. Maybe she's just dirty. Okay, so what about the blood? And that's not dirt on her neck. And if it's dirt on her neck, where's the rest of the dirt on her body? And the one on her arm area is, I mean, it looks to me like a healing bruise or a new or a healing. It's not like a dark bruise, you know what I mean? There's some yellowing and some purple. Grasping at straws. They're not my straws to grasp. Quite honestly, I saw it and I thought everybody else needs to see it and tell me what you're thinking, what your thoughts on. But then there's this other part too, and full disclosure, Daleen, the lawyer, I have to unshare a bit. Daleen, the lawyer, shared another photo with me. Unrelated to Malaya's bruises or whatever, but very interesting because it's like everywhere. First of all, let's not even do what Daleen sent me. We're going to look at, again, American justice. Because American justice, if you want something dug into, analyzed, she's your huckleberry. But anyways, the point is the person that pointed this out to me is Daleen. So this one is kudos to her. And I do believe I have permission to share. However, what I'm going to share first is not Daleen. So just hold on. There we go. There we go. There we go. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Don't kill me when I show this. You're going to be like, what is this? Why do we have to look at this again? I don't want to look at this. Meh. Look at that. I'm going to take myself off screen so I can hopefully zoom it in. So we've all seen this 100 million, billion, gajillion, gazillion times. I would just really quickly like to point out that railing is gone with the smear of deck stain or chicken blood or whatever it might possibly potentially be, right? But look at this. Just study this photo for just I'll give you 10 seconds. See if there's anything interesting or odd that, you know, that we might not have talked about yet. And yes, there are things that, happen with Deline. From Mexico, I grew up wearing, like, I have 6 piercings in each ear. Thank you very much. Just because I'm 52 and I don't do that shit anymore, it doesn't mean I don't know what it's like. Stop it. Step off of me. Okay. Anyways, Daleen um, does say report everything to the RCMP. I suggest using P3 Tips, that app, but then she said to also report to her private investigator. And I mean, that's up to you, but that is definitely what she's saying. And when we'll talk a little bit more about things that Daleen has shared and what should and should not be put out in public relating to conversations that Daleen and I had today. Okay. So, and this is all of a result of my reaction to what went on DTs. But anyways, that's besides the point. Yes, the railing is missing. I thought that was strange that railing is missing and they're kind of trying to rebuild, but whatever, who knows? But I'm looking at this frame. It kind of, sort of, maybe almost looks like it's just about the perfect size to sit inside in that frame to, you know, stop that sliding door from opening. Because I think we've all questioned the wrench on the door thing because we're worried about a bear pushing his way in, but the kids can easily open and close that sliding glass door, but yet we do not secure it. I think they might have secured it, you guys. I think that the kids couldn't open that door when that frame was inside the door. You know what I mean? The new wood frame doesn't look all that new. Could almost guarantee you they didn't, but I don't know. Damn you blocked if you keep it up. I'm just kidding. It should go to the RCMP P3 tips and not on YouTube. I 100% believe that as well. And as long as your tips are going to the RCMP, then you're free to tip them into a private investigator if that's something you believe, is right. And if you don't, then it is what it is, as long as the tips are getting to the police, right? But anyways, back to this, you guys. This is crazy to me because, like Daleen said, it is a perfect fit. And it's kind of leaning there. So, what's this? I don't want to get into no drama, but Chrissy called you at work. Not cool. Interesting. This picture is most definitely after May 2nd. Absolutely. Good thought. But however, let's look at, is it going to change? Okay, good. Okay, good. I want to show you the same picture in black and white. Can I zoom it in? That's the wrong one. Just a minute. Man, this sucks. I need a tech person in the background to do all this stuff for me. Okay, so here we go. Look at this. This. I can only imagine. I apologize. It's got to be difficult to sit here and be patient. But look at that. It's like a scuff mark on the inside of the frame. Have you guys ever had these sliding glass doors? And my dad used to have like a piece of a hockey stick in it, and start to like try to open it and it stops it and it's just like a scuff. And you keep doing it over and over again. It's a scuff. You keep banging it because you forget that stupid thing is in there. I don't know. That's like the perfect height, don't you think? And then the kids wouldn't have been able to open that door. It's a stretch. Is it a stretch? I don't know, man. I don't know. I thought it wasn't a bad thought. Doing, like I said, I'm not really, I'm trying my best to keep, an eye on chat. I don't think anybody is saying anything out of order. I could be wrong. I have invited you and Chrissy to come up and talk and say your pieces. So you guys, I don't want any shit in the chat. Just be nice to each other. Even though whoever that person was thinks that I'm just so nasty and mean and ignorant to my chatters, and I should be thankful for you all for being with me and watching me, and I should just give up. 'Cause at least Sunny has a sense of humor, and that's fine. I have a friend that has a sliding glass door, and her grandson lives with her, and he is 4 years old and can open the door. I agree, but my point is, if your kids can open the door, right, and it's not locked, and you're worried about a bear, so much so that you put a wrench over the door to make sure the bear can't get in, wouldn't you secure the back door that your kids are also able to go? Because not only would you be worried about a bear coming into your house, I would be more worried about my kids getting out and the bear being out there. So I think that they had it secured in some way. Just a question for all those asking why not get a PI, hire a PI. One is involved, and now everyone doesn't think they should give info to her. Tell me what's the point of a PI then? Yeah, I don't know. I've never once said don't give your information to a PI. I'm saying give your information to the investigators, the RCMP, major crimes. And then if it's something you believe in and if it's something you support, then send your tips to Chrissy because she's the only licensed private investigator working on the case, and she is working at the request of Belinda through Galen, from what I understand. Yes, it's the way to keep anybody from breaking in, or children from getting out in the morning if you're worried about a bear. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you put the wood in the sliding door frame, but you put a wrench or something in the front door? Right. Right. Correct. Everything combined and true. Would the RCMP have seen and questioned her on bruises? I would hope so. However, I think that many, many, many of us question how that scene was handled from the get-go. We know that she was talked to, absolutely. But who knows, really, what was done on day one and what they saw. And remember, those pictures are from an interview that was conducted on the Saturday, right? So they would have, I don't know, I don't know, they would have talked to her on the Friday as well. This live stream is not about the PI. I've made the offer. Still waiting to hear, but anyways, it is a nice topic for sure. I have a lawyer. Hey, Belinda. I have a lawyer, Daleen, and she has a PI, Chrissy. I am looking for my grandchildren, and I don't care if she is not cool or if she steps on toes, as long as she is doing her job. Right. Absolutely. Anyone hear about some documentarians snoring around, snooping around the area and maybe even interviewing people? I would suspect, because if you remember back a few live streams ago, we watched the Jason Eller live stream he did discussing his thoughts on the Jack and Lily disappearance. He was talking about there had been a documentary crew out there. And I know Sunny and I had reached out to a couple of different local filmmakers in Nova Scotia as well. So I wouldn't doubt that there's some kind of interest. My hubby and his apartment broken into through patio door. It was locked, but forgot to put in the stick for extra precautions that night. They're not secure at all. That's why so many dads back in the day would just cut a hockey stick or whatever and put it in there. And I'm saying maybe the frame is a stretch, but the scuff mark on the inside of the window frame and the the wooden frame that's sitting on the outside of the door right now in this shot, it they're the same. It's the perfect height. If that frame was placed inside that window frame ledge on the inside to stop the door from opening, and there's actually, I believe, a photo of Allie. There we go. Let me open this one up because I'm going to share this one instead because it shows Allie opening it and you can see better the height of that scuff mark in comparison to the leaned over frame. So it's interesting to me, and I thought it was a good find. See that? She's opening the door. The inside door frame is now backed over, so we know this piece here would come into contact with whatever, if this is what was there, and that's just about the right. I'm not paying attention to chat, so be careful. Totally sure the drug addicts too. You don't think they lock themselves in? Maybe. I don't know any of that. You can see they had safety locks on all the cupboards in the kitchen, so why no proper locks on the doors and windows? Correct. And I don't know that I've seen they had safety locks on everything. I saw them on random weird spots for sure. I'm not 100% sure who the hypocrites are, but everybody, please be nice. I'm hoping Daleen and Chrissy will come on and explain their role. Obviously, Belinda is more than welcome as well. Just can we just drop it and just like we just noticed bruises on Malaya? Doesn't that matter, you guys? Delina's doing her job, and I'm satisfied with the job she's doing, and that is the period at the end of the sentence. Nothing else matters. This is starting to sound similar to Sebastian Rogers' case and the many players. Are there any other searches planned before spring? That would be a good question for. I don't think there's any organized searches planned before spring. I know, and I'm not going to say who, but I know there are people planning on going out search whenever the weather's nice. In fact, I know somebody that was out yesterday, poking around. So people care, and people want answers, and people are really invested in finding out what happened. So there are people searching. Just because we don't hear about it on YouTube or Facebook doesn't mean it's not happening. But how is her job to investigate the case? She can do whatever she wants, but how is it her job? She's a lawyer, not an investigator. If Belinda has asked her to investigate the case with a private investigator, then that I mean, I don't know, but I would suspect it's got something to do. One has to do with the other. I don't know. I think the frame would fall out, rendering it useless. That's why we all use a stick at the base. But if it's a perfect square diesel, I don't think that that's accurate. I don't know. I don't know. It seemed Delene is not investigating the case. She hired Chrissy to do that. And lawyers can investigate matters on behalf of clients' legal rights. Something was definitely used to secure the door, especially if front was secured due to bears in the area. Maybe someone forgot to secure when up through the night. Maybe. That's a thought that I never had, for sure. If Malaya is in care, Belinda should get custody now since she isn't available to care for the child. Well, should isn't what's legal, right? Like, trust me when I say if somebody is in the hospital or something like that and a custody hearing comes up, the custody hearing will be put off until the individual can make it to court. Just went through it. There are no handprints either. Do you think they wiped it clean? This is months out. This is July, you guys, when Allie was there doing her interview. That was in July. Okay. So hopefully they cleaned it since then. And who knows if the RCMP took fingerprints to see if Jack and Lily actually did go out that morning. But then they lived there, and I would suspect, you know what kids are like, their paw prints were probably all over that sliding glass door. You know? Anyone could take a wrench off the knob if they wanted to go out, but a wrench will fall, and they would know something is going on. I believe Belinda knows what she's doing, especially her lawyer. Better than calling a helpline and getting a recording saying to call back because the line is busy and no response after calling for 7 hours. That's terrible. And yes, whatever private investigating is done is coordinated and managed by Chrissy. She's actually an incredible human being and the smartest person I've met in this case, just my experience. Instead of attacking each other, can we please focus on the children? It's about Jack and Lily. Daleen, that is a separate case. No charges have been made, so Malaya is still the legal guardian. What are we talking about and why? Why are we debating this? I'm not going to be around for that one, which I won't call it in respect for you, Charmaine. Understood. I've told everyone if you stand by what you feel, I'm okay with that, but I need someone who will question what people are hiding and trying to divert attention. Agreed. Absolutely. If Malaya is in treatment and told her professional doctors what happened, they are not legally allowed to report that, right? Yeah. Are you talking about her like psychologist? Have to. I think back to the Menendez brothers, and I know this is um their doctor. One of them, I can't remember which one of them confessed to their psychologist, and he did end up calling the police, and he was put on the stand, and his testimony was accepted. I think there are certain situations where that confidentiality um, can be broken. And I do believe that a case of two missing children, if somebody is confessing some wrongdoing or some knowledge to that, I think first they would try to convince her to do the right thing, but I don't think that they're bound by any. Because how do you weigh your and this was definitely a question in college. How do you weigh your ethical and moral responsibilities? How do you weigh your ethical responsibilities up against your morals? Um, they're ethical dilemmas that I would want no part of. That sliding door was not quiet. Maybe to people who have hearing problems, it might be. I mean, Allie did open and close it, and I will admit it's not as loud as I was expecting it to be, but it's definitely not silent. Whoever's going out, make sure you're wearing a camera, especially with things seemingly being planted. Absolutely. Hey, Damien. Damien's got a drone. Mm. If locks, it locks the door, right? I understand what you are saying, but that also could be a window getting ready to be framed up. Absolutely, it could be. 100%, Brian. Could be. We're spitballing here with this stuff. Daleen was here following just like all of you and looking for answers. She offered her services to me and I accepted. Oh, joyous, thank you so much. What we all want is for Jack and Lily to be found, period. Right. Right. And to be drama free. I'm just trying to drop the combo. I don't know who is doing what behind the scenes. I appreciate you. Because same. I live alone. I got a small tie on my front door. Pull into to house. If someone or something opens my door, I'll know it while I sleep. It has a big lid on the end of inside of the front door. Won't open with it on. All right. Security is important. This is definitely not about Daleen and Chrissy today. If they want the platform, they've been invited to use it. Damien, I'm just learning about these devices. I don't drones? Yeah, I don't know. And go in pairs, going alone is risky. Good advice. Saying maybe she can get Daleen and Chrissy on. It's not, you know, the the invitation is out there to them. It's up to them. I'm not going against you. It's your legal team that's not doing your case any favors, in Lori's opinion. They didn't put move or when I was in the ICU for breaking my back after having a seizure. They didn't put move. I'm sorry, I don't know what you're saying. So did Daniel say the kids would use chairs to get up to get things, so that's likely why all the cupboards weren't locked? Puddings or snacks must have been there. Yeah. We never know. We never know. We all hope Belinda gets answers. Lily and Jack, they have been missing for way too long. I believe something fatal happened to Jack and Lily on May 1st. The rest is a BS narrative. Thanks for being here, LD. I don't know if I want to know what needs debating. Please go ahead and speak. Ignore the chat. What do you want me to say? Like, I thought we were going to be talking about this stuff and the bruises and the blood on Malia's ear forever. I mean, it deserves a little bit of attention, if you ask me. You know, I'm okay with it not. Do you guys want to watch? Did everybody catch Shenanigans today? She was heated. She reminded me of me today. Not today, but like when I get heated, usually with Durwood, she reminded me of that. They have a moral obligation to report it. Right, but they also have an ethical, can't remember what it's called, but they take an oath, right? They can report if they or others are at risk. Thank you. We live in a ranch house in a slab, and I can hear and feel when my mom's sliding door opens and closes. I'm pretty sure it would be easier to hear, feel in trailer. True. So I do want to go and I want to look at Shenanigans because she did a map time and she showed us where Brian Ward lives. And all these names, we've heard them before. Brian Ward. We know that Janie, when she was searching up on the pipeline, said that she was stopped to talk to a lady who was on an ATV and had a child with her on that ATV. We know that is Brian Ward's wife. Does any of that have any significance? It didn't. Well, okay, no, that's not true. It did to me because of the boot prints found. As soon as I heard that, I was like, okay, well, that makes sense then. We can surmise that the footprints are from the child who got off the ATV to go pee. And that would explain why there was no footprints in between, right? And I know there's a debate and there's this and that going on with that, but I, you know, I've kind of, until I hear something else, I've kind of made up my mind with that. Makes most logical sense to me. Happened with the boot prints on the pipeline, none of the other shit, but that was Brian Ward's wife. Okay. But now we find out that Brad Wong is saying that the blue blanket and sweater that was wrapped up with a bath mat with a mysterious stain on it that didn't belong to Brad Wong. Now we find out that that was placed on Brian Ward's property? What? How did that happen? That doesn't even there's nothing that you can say to make that make sense. An animal didn't take it there. the wind didn't blow it there because it was wrapped up so nicely. She said it was something like 5 point something kilometers, so it didn't roll there. There was no flooding. It didn't float there. You know? Do I have pictures of the porch the day the police showed up? Yeah. Why? Why? They're everywhere. Any interview that was done, not on day one. No, actually, wait. Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't know. Because we know that vulnerable persons alert didn't come out till like 5 o'clock or something at night. Oh shit. Just hang on. I got her. I don't like the portrait and landscape streaming thing. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. Um, anyways, we're gonna watch some shenanigans right now for a few minutes. If they come on my channel, I can post it all over the universe. I can put Dalene's email address later. You remind me. Shenanigans. And she's the one that she paid money to get that property search done to find out that this belonged to Brian Ward. So let's listen. I don't know who was there for last night for It's a Crime and Shame, where Brad Wong was on there, and he disclosed that the blanket and the shirt belonged to him, but the math mat did not. Who was there for that? Hey, Donna, Drippy, Gaspé Girl, Graham Tam, Root Strength, Bonnie, Poetic Justice, Nova's Inquest. Yes. Well, Nova, I'm going to give you a bit of information to bring out there that hasn't been heard yet. So last night, I thought to myself, why did someone allegedly take a towel and a shirt from Brad Wong's property on Lansdowne Station, not his house, which we found out, from his burn pit? I'm going to go do some mapping in a second, but I actually am just so upset about all the crap that I'm just done with it. So Drippy, they weren't on his property. No, they were on his burn pile, which is where the yellow boat is, if you happen to know where that is, and where the oil barrels were. So they were taken from there. A bath mat was taken from somewhere else because he said the bath mat does not belong to his family. They were wrapped up like a cocoon or like a little baby and brought 6 kilometers up the road, up Lansdowne Road, heading towards Montreal Road. Now, I did a bit of digging, and unfortunately, Sunday evenings are not very good for finding out information on different types of websites. So this morning, I was up at the crack of shite and ordered the information on who owned the land on where that blanket was found, where the blanket, the shirt, and the bath mat. So I thought to myself, I wonder who's going to own that land. Is it going to be a Martel? Is it going to be a Mackenzie? Is it going to be the Gettys? Is it going to be a Ward? So it turns out actually that the land used to be owned by a Gerald McKay Ward, but it's now being, he's deceased. He passed away in 2013. So it's actually being looked after by Brian Ward, who lives around the corner. I have his address as well. I've spent a good amount of money finding out who owns what property in that whole area. I know who owns every bit of land now in that whole area. Everyone, even people that aren't related. So I was a little surprised to find out that Brian Ward owns that land. And I thought to myself, who would want to set up Brad Wong? Why would they take items from his place, add in something else, a bath mat, and wrap it up and place it on land that is being cleared and filled by Brian Ward? So, anybody have any ideas on why that would happen? And let's back up. Brian obviously is the bus driver for Lily and Jack. He was seen on the news. I'm not saying he is in any way responsible for the disappearance of Lily and Jack. I am just saying that he is responsible for the land in which these items were found. Curious. I was expecting to see it belong to a Mackenzie since they own pretty much every bit of land around there. Yes, Salty, that is the land being filled with gravel. I'm wondering, and I'm not, I don't know a whole lot about Brad Wong. That's Sonny's connection, not mine. But I'm wondering because from what I understand, maybe I'm wrong, but he committed some crimes about 7 years ago. I don't know, Lori, that he's been doing rounds on YouTube. I know that he was in DT for some time, and then he speaks to Sonny privately. So, or maybe his wife talks to Clutch Them Pearls or something. I don't know. But I don't know. Like Sonny used to say Daniel's like whack-a-mole in YouTube. You never know where he was going to pop up because he'd be everywhere. And the more current example of that is Durwood, who will go wherever he's not blocked, and he's taken to showing up in tarot reading YouTube live chats because he's bored. So like that is what I call making rounds on YouTube. We make our rounds on YouTube, but I don't know that I would say Brad Wong makes his rounds on YouTube. And my question is, why would Brad Wong just admit that that's his sweater and blanket if it wasn't his sweater and blanket? Like if it wasn't, think that I don't think that he would be like, "Oh yeah, that's mine." Or sorry, go and ask his wife and daughter and then find out that it's his daughter's and then come back and say, "Yeah, that's my daughter's. What the hell? Who's going into my burn pit and taking my stuff?" And then putting it with a random bath mat. And can we at least all agree that that bath mat was purposefully wrapped up with the sweater in that blanket, nice and tight? It looked like a baby burrito, you know? We do that with babies to keep them nice and wrapped, but it looked terribly purposeful to me, and the placement of it didn't it didn't look like it was haphazardly thrown out of a passing car or whatever. It looked like it was put there. That's my opinion on it. Why would who be burning something? Hi, Sharon Parker. What do you mean? Are you talking about burn pit? People do that. I do that on my property. Certain things that you have to separate, whatever, whatnot. It's easier. It's better to burn them in our burn pit than it is to take them to the landfill and pay money for disposal. So, I mean, people do that. I was in a live where he was in the chat and said that the blue shirt was his from his pit, but it was the shirt found by itself. Yes, that was his as well. And there was also a little tricycle that was found, and that was his from his burn pit. Looks to me like somebody's going into his garbage burn pit and taking his stuff. But it looks awfully suspicious, doesn't it? And who would want to make Brad Wong look suspicious? It's weird. It is straight up, there's no other way to put it. It is weird. So, to me, anyway. It's weird. Brad said he has cameras all over his property, so why can he not go and look? So if you, oh, I don't want it because Sunny, oh, I don't want to pull up the map. I mean, I could, I guess. I guess I could. You guys, you can go to Sunny's live, and she pulled up a map, and Brad Wong was in the chat, and he told us where his burn pit was on the map, and it's not near his house, right? And some people have even said that that's not even on his property, and that it's kind of it is clear access to for other people to it's visible from the road. Definitely weird, absolutely. The dog handler accused him of burning clothes in his wood stove, though. I believe that whole situation with the dog handler was simply to rattle him, to get a reaction. Police do that. He said the burn pit was used for getting rid of stuff that wasn't good for donating or passing along to someone else. They can also put a few bags of garbage, he said, allegedly. And that's exactly true. And like I said, you don't have to be in Nova Scotia to do that, because we do that too in BC on an acreage. Like, I wouldn't suggest in a residential area burning your stuff, but Brad Wong has stolen guns and drugs, among other stuff. Why would he have firearms regardless? And no, you are going to come at me, but I find him shady too. Just saying, he's not a good guy. It's maybe he's not. Maybe he's not. But when it comes to Jack and Lily's disappearance, I don't see a connection. I don't. Sorry. I don't buy that only because how it was wrapped. And if just devil's advocate, if that bath mat has blood on it and it was wrapped up in the blanket with a sweater with blood on it, bear grabbed it, it would be because of the scent of blood, and you would not find it still wrapped up like that. It would be torn to shreds. Just about any predator would open that up to get at that blood. So Bossman is very forthright about, admitting, yeah, that's mine. It is just a distraction. Thanks for being here, Mike. Didn't put any videos up for me to play. The heck? Brad was pulling a gun on an old man last year for simply driving up the road. Do you think people are going to go and steal clothes from his yard? This isn't his yard. You're going to make me pull up Sunny's map. Hey, Marky. I'm glad you made it back. I think that family will do anything to get Danny out of shit. In my opinion, obviously. Hey, Ernestine, good to see you. No burning clothes, Daniel. He alluded to other things. Tinky is behind, but yes, most definitely. They explained it in the chat? Okay, good. Am I that far behind again? For fuck's sakes. Anything else before I start playing? Like, I wish I knew, 'cause I was so busy today, I didn't take timestamps or anything, so I don't know what part I want to get to. But this is important, and then I'm gonna fast forward to when she starts doing her map time. Nova joins her as well, but we all love a good map time, am I right? And people change, but not very often. And like I said, he could be the baddest dude on the planet. He could be, you know, the worst of the worst. But you need to connect the dots when it comes to Jack and Lily's disappearance. I mean, the guy has been very forthright about taking ownership of his junk, his garbage that's been strewn around and found by searchers. So I don't know that he would do that if he was involved in some way. So I don't get it. But who is trying to make it look like he would? Who would try to make like it seems like Brad might be suspicious? I don't know. I don't know. It's strange. I'm going to start playing. And like I said, I might fast forward to the map time part. I know it being a small community, everybody knows everybody. And there was a friend out there, Kent Corbett, who said back in the day, Brian Ward's a good man and he wouldn't have anything to do with this, and that he knew him from the tow truck industry. Yes, Drippy, the bus driver owns and manages the land that Brad Wong's stuff that was removed from Brad Wong's property and relocated, wrapped up ever so nicely, and found on an embankment. And I cannot figure out for the life of me how a property 6 kilometers away that had a pile of clothes that weren't being able to be donated because they were stained or crap, holes, whatever, would have been taken from Brad Wong's property and brought 6 kilometers up the road, found in an embankment in some gravel on a property. Sorry. To me, Lori, it would depend on the intellect and the knowledge of the person doing the planting, right? Like, I don't think we're dealing with a bunch of rocket scientists here. Forgive me, but I don't know that we're at a Mensa appointment here. You know what I mean? So, there, I don't know. It's not even like reading the room. It's just, do we think that these people are super smart and they would think of hair evidence on a bath mat, maybe? Or maybe the bath mat has absolutely nothing to do with anything. Maybe it was found in somebody else's garbage. Who knows? I sure hope that they're testing, though, for fibers or anything like that. Because if it was touched by somebody, you would think that transfer DNA would be on there somehow. Skin cells, fibers from clothing. Do I think anybody did like a Kohlberger and wore one of them hazmat suits? No. Again, that's we have to think to the level of the intellect that we're dealing with here, of the potential individuals that might be involved in doing something like this. That's all I wanted to say. Let's continue. And I hate how I do that. I just start talking and I forget that I'm not on camera. So you guys are looking at poor Shan's face and you're hearing my voice and I think I'm on camera. So I'll get used to it one day. Owned by the bus driver. I can't figure it out. 6 kilometers. Are we gonna say a bear got into it this time? Or how are we gonna figure this out? There's only so yes, and to be found by the paternal grandmother. Novas, was there any flooding in between the time Brad put them on the property to the time they were found? I don't know. People go to places they're familiar with. Whoever put it there is familiar with who Brian is. Absolutely. Absolutely. So someone's either trying to frame him or they're trying to frame Bradwell. And we all know all the speculation. No, it wasn't near a river. I'm going to bring up the maps. We're going to do a little walkies because actually later this afternoon, I'm heading up. I'm heading up there. I've got some sources up there and I'm on a freaking mission. And Durwood, if you're watching, I saw you last night. I saw your comments last night. I saw you calling the RCMP stupid and that they don't care again. And maybe you think that, but I can tell you that everyone here, we're not stupid and we care. So yes, I'm going up to talk to some sources later on this afternoon. I'm leaving in about an hour and I will not be back until tomorrow. And tomorrow night I will be doing another live with whatever I find out. But yeah, I'm just actually really annoyed, really upset. Oh, I know. I've got all-wheel drive. I got all-wheel drive. I got a great winter vehicle. And I won't be going to Lansdowne Station. I'm meeting in a safe place, so don't worry. I would never go to Lansdowne Station on my own because they're all a bunch of liars. And if they're willing to lie about 2 missing children, they're willing to do anything. In my opinion, somebody in that area is lying. I think multiple people are lying. I think they're absolutely, the one thing I do agree with Chrissy Travers is there is a misinformation campaign going on. And you can't pull the wool over everyone else's eyes. We're used to hearing dribble drabble come out of people's mouths. He wants the reward money. Get off your arse and go and look for the kids. You've been saying invite Nova on. I love her whole thing with Durwood. It was great. Go back and watch it, seriously. All right. Yeah, so then they said they lived in Woodside. Yeah. Yep. Yep. They live everywhere. Hi, American Justice. Can't stay. I'm about to head on the road for 8 hours, but wanted to say hi. Hello. Thank you for coming in and saying hello. All right, so this is just a rudimentary map. I'm gonna come back to that, but I'm gonna see if I can get Nova on here. Give me a second. So I want to invite a guest. I'm gonna copy that, and then I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to put my shenanigans account and message. Sorry, if I talk through things, it makes it better. There you go, my dear. Sent it through Facebook Messenger. Right. And let me get back to close some of my 100 windows. All right. Okay. So we're going to just do, oh, there's Nova. Okay. Lily Jones, hello. Thank you, everyone, for coming in if I haven't said hello yet. Welcome, Nova's Inquest.
Hello.
Hello. There's a
How's
nice
everyone doing?
calming voice of reason. Thanks for coming on. Maybe you
Thank
can take
you.
me down a couple of pegs.
I don't disagree with anything you're saying. You know, where you were talking about Malaya leaving the property with the baby, and I know a lot of people, are criticize her for that, but you have to put that in perspective. That was obviously not a safe place to be for her or the baby, you know. And when you're prompted by the RCMP because they're having a discussion with you and saying to you, and of course they probably couldn't get her away from Daniel because we know what Daniel's like was, up her butt that,
Yeah,
do you feel safe here? And I kept saying, well, what would prompt them to say that? Now, put that in perspective. If one of your children went missing right now and you've called law enforcement to your home to help you find your child, and they look at you and say, Shan, do you feel safe here? You'd be like, what the hell? I called you
yeah,
here to help me find my child. Like, there's a reason why they did that. And I know that as a nurse. There's things you look out for, and there's reasons that prompt you to start asking those questions. Um,
absolutely.
Yeah, and then, you had her sister also have a discussion with her, and then her mother having a discussion with her. And then finally, the light bulb, I always say went off, but I guess it's on. The
Yes,
light bulb went on,
yeah.
and it wasn't safe. It's not, it wasn't. So,
I can just imagine what the RCMP witnessed on the day and the day after, watching the family fall out, the arguments and the accusations, and Daniel running around like a chicken with his head cut off. They must have began to wonder what the heck is going on here with
right.
whatever information they already had previous.
Right, and I don't know if you caught it in my live. I talked about it way back when I finally noticed it, because at first I thought it was the RCMP making an error, and at first I was irritated thinking, "How the heck could they get that date wrong? What is wrong with them?" And then I started to as things started to unfold and we started to become more familiar with the whole situation, then I realized, "Oh, that's why they did that." And I went back and did a video on it way, 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 way back. And then on my last video I just did, which I think was 2 weeks ago, I'm still having a hard time with pain, and I have antibiotics for my ear. I'm struggling with my issues with my ear. Um, so I'm not giving up on this. I'm just in kind of a self-care mode right now. But anyways,
You
my
have to do
last
that. You have to look after yourself first
yeah,
because
you
you're no good to
do.
anyone. You're no good
You,
to anyone if you don't
oh
have
yeah.
your strength and
And
your,
I, and I've already learned that the hard way, believe me. But
yes,
the my disc up in my cervical disc is really, really, really causing me some issues, and I don't want to mess around with that one because Janie heard them but didn't see them, and it said the last time seen. Um, but then the next day, and this is where I couldn't understand.
Okay. So I'm just looking at chat. It's giving me PTSD. Not even kidding. So again, I am not discussing private investigators or lawyers or anything like that. It's okay that things are, trying to be clarified in chat, but it's not getting anywhere. So again, if you want to come up and talk, let me know. But I'm interested in Brian Ward's family's property that he is having. Brian Ward is actually taken care of, and I don't think that he was you know chosen to have that blanket planted on his property. I don't think that's what is happening at all. I don't think that that was well known and that was chosen on purpose. Um, but it's still an interesting turn of events, and Shan decided to go on and pay the money to find out who owned that property. So to make that connection in a very, you know, very efficient, timely manner, because we only found out yesterday, technically from Brad Wong himself last night, that that blanket and sweater were his. So, yeah, very interesting. Again, Daylene, you want tips? Come up, talk. I'm not doing this. I will literally end this live before I'm gonna let the chat get all mad. And I mean, it's been that way for at least 45 minutes now. Everybody is concentrating on that. And if that's the information you guys want to discuss, let's schedule it. Let's talk about it. But not today. Anyways, she did something else. This was a very, very, it was a short live, but it was very informative. So she's going to make herself bigger, and I'm going to mute myself and start.
Yeah.
Let me go to the map here. I'm gonna put us onto the side and make the map bigger. And, okay. So, did I put, yes, I do have.
Funny
Let me
Michelle
get there.
Harper.
So yes, thanks for to Sunny Austin on It's a Crime Shame for asking that question out loud
Mhm.
about those items and the bath mat, because no,
Yeah.
the bath mat, we knew that he had come out and said that those two items were his, but when he came out and said the bath mat, the look on Charmaine's face
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of
was
expected it.
priceless.
I was I thought he's gonna come back and say, no, that's not, because it like it just putting two and two together that somebody's trying to disguise
Yeah.
something, right?
Yes. So I didn't mark this on the map yet, but this is Brad Wong's. I'm going to mark it on this one. But like I said, I've got another map, but this is the one that I'm willing to show because my other one has a lot more information and it's got every neighbor in the neighborhood listed on there. And I'm not about to dox people that have nothing to do with this. So I'm going to just put here Brad's fire pit. So just to give you an idea of where his pit is, there is Jack and Lily's trailer. Here is the fire pit. Here's Brad Wong's property where he lives. So they I guess, go over there. Okay. So if you want to,
Okay, interesting. Very good work. You're doing awesome work. I just love your channel.
thank you. I had some good inspiration. Okay, where are we here? Sorry, Google Maps does this sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate when you're trying to go under an
right.
underpass and it puts you up on it.
Yeah. See, now it doesn't want to. Oh, here we go. Thank you. Great. So there's his burn pile.
Okay. And his yellow boat.
This is where he basically puts, yeah, this is where all the crap is that he doesn't want on his property. He brings it to here. So you can see a broken down lawnmower, some drums, probably stacks up scrap metal before it gets picked up, once a year or something like that. So items were taken from there. And as you can see, there's nothing else around there. There is a neighbor down the road, but no one would see someone going there to take those items. Because this house here,
Oh, yeah.
sorry, this house here, it got a tree line hedge in front of it. No one's gonna see somebody going
Yeah.
into there to take anything.
Yeah, and there's no camera there.
No. And
Mm.
go back to
Now, Ruth,
Interesting.
actually, you're here,
map.
but you said because you were in that search team that searched this area with the Please Bring Me Home search, correct? And you had mentioned that, I believe you had mentioned there were trail cams or something there. Can you clarify that for me? And as for piggybacking off of Shenanigans information, no, that wasn't it. But when I saw this today, I was like, the bruises, sorry, the potential bruises, definitely the blood on the ear. Um, that could speak to some kind of domestic violence situation that might have happened. And the main question at the end of all this that Nova and Shanann get to is who would do that? So I, in my head, was well, who Daniel was out saying now, not now, but most recently when he was out, he started saying that Malaya was the abusive one. But if what we saw on those photos is accurate, that might contradict that claim. And I mean, who would want to cause a distraction like this? I didn't mean to insinuate that I had more information to go along with this. It was just mine hers kind of feeds into mine in a way that makes you wonder. I don't know. To me, it made things a little bit more clear. I don't want to say it out loud because I don't want to be sued. But Mm, there we go. There was a trail cam in the roadside dump where the burning barrel and the boat is. I don't know if it was working though. Okay. Um, and I wonder if those barrels were ever checked. And I'm not saying like kids were in there, but maybe there could be evidence or something in there. And maybe they were both equally abusive. Could be. Could be. Abusers usually do blame the victim to make them look better and try to make themselves the victim, especially if people may be catching on. Yeah, and I feel like, after so many months of Malaya being like silent, no matter what the public was saying and no matter what we did, we could not get Malaya to talk, right? So maybe that gave a level of comfort to say, wait a second, I was the one being abused, you know? Could that be? And then, like I said, when I saw the blood on her ear after seeing whatever it was on the railing and zooming in and inspecting her a little bit more closely, something that I'd never even thought to do before, seeing the blood on her ear, it just started really making me think. And this was my all night last night with Melissa, and then getting up today and just going about my day listening to these guys. I'm like, well, I wonder who would do that. All the while thinking that Malaya's got this stuff on her that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was just like, 1 plus 1, sometimes it equals 2, sometimes it doesn't. So, Michelle, it's at the beginning, but I was just actually sent a nice, almost what you could consider a clearer picture. So if you just give me 2 seconds, I will send it to a place where I can access it on the computer, and I'll bring it up. But again, it's at the beginning and we zoomed into a few different spots, but this is the same picture that I used other than the ear. The ear one was different, a different picture. But when I was looking at the neck and the arm, and I was like, oh my God. I cannot believe that we haven't seen this yet. If I move this, yeah, it's gonna show my email. Just give me a minute. I have to unshare. Mm. And if it doesn't really look much better, guys. In fact, it looks worse. Maybe I'll pull up the other ones again. All right. All right. Top screen, share screen. Just for those latecomers, we'll do this again. And like I said, go get your own screenshots and zoom in and you can see. Yeah. There's blood. And like it's really clear to me, but I know on your screen it's not so clear. But go look, you can actually see where the earring was ripped. And then there was this one. I don't know why I have to keep doing this. It's funny, I can share my screen and then if I exit one, it'll show my Facebook or whatever. But if I try to do it with a picture, it won't do it. And then there's this in the corner here. It's a bruise. How it got there, I don't know. Not saying I know for sure. It's just like I said, something that I not noticed before. And I wasn't sure if you guys had because I'd never heard of it being talked about before. And I am gonna pull this new one up because I did notice also what the ever loving heck. I did notice also about the shirt. The shirt did look like it had been, you know, that's how I see it. But the pixels are shit. I don't know what happened to this, but it was a nice clear picture. But kind of ticks me off that I'm not a wizard. I don't care what you guys say. That sliding glass door and that frame thing, that's interesting to me. All right, finally. Look at her. Sure. Yeah, but usually when you get, yeah, that's true. I mean, I've had bruising from having blood taken for sure, but it usually doesn't run up the side of my arm. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Wiping tears on it, absolutely. Maybe, absolutely, could be, absolutely. And so let me find which other one was there. This is because I showed the ear, I showed the arm, and this was the other one that's kind of like I don't know if there's anything to this or not, but it definitely looks like an old abrasion on her lip. Like I don't know. I don't know. It was just something that I've never heard anybody bring up before. I never thought to look. I was so concerned with the bruises on little Jack and Lily. I never looked, and a lot of people were talking about wondering about the scar on Daniel's eye, but I don't think any of us ever looked that closely at Malaya. Oh, right, there's one more. There was one more. Where'd it go? It is the neck one. And again, pixels suck, so go find these and zoom in and make up your own minds. Like, I know what I can see, and I know what I think. And now I've given you guys the information to go look for yourselves. Because it matters. Like, I don't know. Is she that dirty? You think she's that dirty, guys? I don't. I'm wondering if that's the stoop she was on in the interview, because I remember thinking it was dangerous for the kids on the back step without a railing. Can you look at a May 3rd pic of back step? Ear piercing could be infected with blood all over her ear. It's a hell of an infection. Maybe that's what she was gone to the doctor for. But again, if she was treated, shouldn't have blood all over it. Again, Bubbles, go find the picture, zoom in. Mine doesn't do it justice. Thanks, Peggy. Thank you for being here. Now that's a bruise from being grabbed. I bet you $1 to donut. Yeah. I mean, I think so. You seem more calm now. Your usual self. Close. Close. Like I said at the beginning, there seems to be a fine line between information and drama. And some days I find myself balancing on that line. And those days I'm very high anxiety, high emotion, and yeah. She looks like she's been roughed up. That's what I think. Doesn't look like dirt. Could be dry lips or blisters. Could be. Her shirt would be dirty too if it was dirt. I agree. I don't think she's that dirty to have a big thing of mud and dirt on her neck. I don't know. Doesn't look like dirt. Looks like bruises. Hey, Pictobub, thank you so much. Yeah, you guys, I think that's my opinion. I've told you my opinion. It could just be shadows. I don't think so. But again, there's no pictures of her on May 3rd or May 2nd or whatever. This was May 3rd. There's no pictures of her. So you have to go to the interview video and, take your screenshots and zoom in. Make up your own mind. All perception. Exactly. Yep. 100%. I mean, she does have, how do you say it nice? She does look healthy. She looks like she has a healthy weight. So I don't think she's a heavy drug user. Blood test bruises are usually in the crook of my arms. Yep. That's kind of what I was trying to get at. They don't usually go up like that. It's usually like right in here, like right. You get a bruise, it'd be right like in here, whereas this bruise is like here, this area up here, and like it looks like a fair size. I mean, I said, go get the stuff and go make up your own mind. There's something there. And if we try to think about the scenario, now we're just speculating, but think of the scenario if Daniel is so controlling and maybe possibly abusive, and Saturday comes around, Malaya's having a breakdown in the ambulance, and Cindy is talking to her saying, you know, what are you doing? Come home with me. We need to get you out of this situation. And Cindy will not allow Daniel to have any time alone with her. I don't know. That's not what happened though, Lori. We know that. Like, we know that. We know people that were there, and there was no law enforcement with the family. No. They should have, but it didn't happen in this case. Why would you bruise higher than the actual needle site? Makes no sense. Because the interview was happening, that's why they did a lot of cleanup. Like, you guys know, I know, we all know that is not the same property we saw on May 3rd. That is not the same property as May 3rd. Yeah, and that's fine, but it is what it is. Yeah, absolutely. That's why, like, honestly, that's why I never really mentioned the neck thing before. I was one of the first things I noticed was the collar being stretched out, but if I mean, it's not stretched out in one spot like that ever, but when you wear a t-shirt to bed, this usually loosens up a little bit. Absolutely. But speculate if you want. Don't speculate if you don't want, if you're not comfortable with it. But here's the information. I was shocked when I seen it and I wanted to share it. So, yeah. It's just a bad photo and so pixelated. That's why it's hard to tell if it's bruises, shadows, or dirt. Right, CJ. And if you guys, like I said, go back and because it's when I look at it on my phone, it even looks even better than when I'm looking at it here, like on my computer. And then once it's transferred again onto StreamYard, it doesn't, you don't see what I see. So uh very suspicious that they did so much work to the property all of a sudden. I don't think it's suspicious at all if you have national news cameras coming to your property. And keep in mind that you saw the public reaction to how your property looked at the beginning. I mean, you'd clean it up. You would. Did they only have a wood stove heat? Yes. If so, that dries you out so bad if you don't have a humidifier. Okay, good to know. Fair enough. Property being cleaned up too could also be something requested or demanded by CPS because they're dealing with a custody case. Mm-hmm. The police would have seen this as a liaison officer would have been appointed to her. Okay, but there wasn't. No. They are legally required to report harm to self, harm to others. I know this is a fact. Of course they are. But if they didn't, if number one, if they didn't see it, maybe they asked her what it was and I ran into a wall. Who knows? Who knows? All I know is their response to and how they treated that scene from day one is not normal. So, I mean, I can't assume, unfortunately, that this was looked into at all. I don't know. I don't know. You know, people bruise a good size after blood. Some do, some don't. Like Joe Christina, she did not leave her clothes at Patty's after they did laundry. Everything that was taken to Patty's to be washed was brought back home. Thank you for being here, Cheryl. Okay, Ori, thank you. See you later. No one is banging on the carotid artery. You can bang in the neck, but that's right at the carotid. What? Thanks, Gran. Thank you, Damien. Whoever got that, make sure you say thank you to Damien. Abuse, it looks like she looks sad, which makes me think domestic violence. Unfortunately, it's common if the kids accidentally did it. I don't think she would look so sad. Well, that I mean, I disagree with that. Her kids are missing. I think she should look absolutely devastated, right? That's why person asked if she felt safe there. It's a good point, Lynn. It's a good point. I can't with people who think that since they passed their polygraph that they're truthful. Polygraphs are woefully fallible. Ted Bundy, Gary Ridgway are the prime examples of this. Yeah. Again, thank you, Damien. Whoever got that from Damien, please say thank you. Cindy and Wade had a party after they didn't care. In my opinion, neighbors noticed. I'd like to know what kind of a party it was. Medications and severe vitamin C deficiencies cause them as well, so abuse of meds possibly, and all with low immune systems. You never know. You never know. Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's called Be Real, Joe. So they've got they just take like random video and stuff around the property and of the people, and then only what they put in, anything they don't put into the actual um aired interview is called a Be Real. So I think the spots where she's sitting down or, you know, she obviously did her interview standing up. I believe Daniel told me like at the end of the driveway or something. But the Be Real, the stuff they didn't put in the interview would just be, you know. But some of the pictures were released as kind of a backdrop to voiceovers. But they don't bruise on their neck and ear from blood work. I mean, you can't. That's not nice, Brian. We don't do that here. It's a matter of perception, and my perception is they're bruises and it was blood on her ear. And if you don't agree with me, that's fine. It's your prerogative, but I gave you the information. Go look at it yourself. Get yourself a better picture, zoom in, pixels suck. They absolutely do. But I like I said, the information that we now know that blanket, bath mat, and sweater purposely wrapped up and placed where it was found. Not too terrible. It wasn't 7 months ago. I call bullshit on that. But anyway, it's purposely placed where it was found. Who would do that? Who would need to distract? I don't get it. Is this so complicated to determine if she is abused because she had a shallow, flat affect? This could be her natural disposition. Why would Daniel describe her as a psychopath? Is she just cold? Cindy? I've never heard Daniel describe Malaya as a psychopath. And I don't even think he's publicly. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but to me, privately, we talked about psychopathic traits. that a certain mother-in-law might have, in his opinion, but I have never heard him say that Malaya was a psychopath. Wooden structure that you mentioned is beside Janie. I agree that it would help a lot to hear from Malaya in a meaningful manner. But if it's true that she is hospitalized, obviously she can't. But looking at everything that Daniel, Janie, Durwood go through on social media, I can't say that I blame her for not. But I gotta tell you, and I mean, I'm not completely, blind or whatever, but I gotta tell you, I'm back to my original thought that perhaps Malaya was so checked out that the cameras in her face and her children are gone was a big ass reality check. And that's why the interview was so off putting. And if this stuff is true, if there was some kind of a physical fight Thursday and she was still smarting from that, that would add to it. So, does it explain what happened to the kids? No, but I don't know. Is that what happened on Thursday? I think it's possible. Cindy hasn't had a party in probably 20 years. Hey, Shari. Hit mark, fist, or bumper. Like, isn't a car bumper? I don't think she was hit by a vehicle. Is that what you're talking about? Think what you want, but we got a couple of kids and a mom with bruises. Yeah. So that, and I mean, I get it, DA. I thought about that too. However, that video was from 2014. So you're talking 11 years ago. I don't know. That looks like soot from a wood stove? No. Where's it on the white shirt? No. You want to say dirty? Okay, fine. I can't argue. I don't know, but that is definitely not soot because you would see it. That stuff gets everywhere. I don't know. I don't think Daniel has fake profiles. I don't think he does. Maybe they did. We are exactly. This is not a fact. It's not a fact that these are bruises. It's a fact that's blood on her ear. It's a fact that earring was ripped somehow. Maybe she wears a ring and it got caught on it. I don't know. But the bruises stuff, that's not a fact. We're looking at pictures. No idea where it came from. Anybody else? I'm gonna call it a day. Well, what? Which, that was like 2 months later. She had been away. What do you mean? Not to jump? What do you mean? Am I that far behind already? Yes, very toxic, very unhealthy relationship. Yes, absolutely. If she would take him back, he would come running, you think? Daniel's gaslighting is second nature. You're not wrong. Well, have to double check with Belinda, but I think he was out searching most of the day Saturday. Belinda said that she didn't meet Daniel until I want to say the Monday because he wasn't there Saturday. He was out searching all day. I want to say. Her eyes say a lot to me. She is seeing the night before. Maybe. Erwood is the king of distractions. Yeah. I don't know if you're like, I don't know if you meant to put the idea in my head that I've got now, but you're not wrong. None of us really know, but I do know that Daniel said that they had lodged like an obscene number of pages amount of complaints against him with CPS. So who knows? I'm not saying I don't feel bad if abuse was happening, but to Malaya, but I feel like the kids were let down regardless, and she is responsible. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. If you're not serious here, you're gonna go wait in the car, Joe. In all seriousness, even if Malaya's drug of choice was alcohol or pot, she could have been so checked out all the time just the same. Maybe more so than uppers, really. Very true. Thank you for being in all seriousness. Thanks for not letting me down. I learned the hard way not to show Joe's comments on screen. I'm not seeing Cheryl answer questions about the bruises and what her thoughts are. Hey, Shenanigans, thanks for being here. I played your live for a little bit. Asked Belinda if she saw marks. I'm gonna end it right away. Kind of gone through what I wanted to go through. Played a little bit of shenanigans. Who lodged the CPS complaints? We don't know. We don't know. Yes, cannot wait to see your live tomorrow. Glad that you made it safe and sound. If Daniel's kids say Daniel abused them, then it's true. You always believe your kids. I don't care who you are. You always believe your kids. I'm a pot smoker. My son always had 3 meals a day, clean clothes. You know what? My ex was a pot smoker, like a chronic pot smoker. I never touched it, but he was a chronic pot smoker. But he went to work. He provided. Yeah, I didn't see any marks or bruises, but then again, I wasn't looking. I was looking for 2 missing kids. And that's kind of where I'm at too. When people want to ask Belinda this and that, they weren't. Maybe her mother would have, possibly Belinda might have noticed something, but to think much about it when you're more concerned with the children, I don't think it's even reasonable to expect in that situation untrained people to have noticed that. You know what I'm saying? And maybe she was wearing a sweater, maybe. We weren't there. We don't know. So this is her channel right here. It's actually Tea Time on True Crime with Shenanigans. It's a long one, but this is it right here. And you can go over, give her a sub. And tomorrow she will be doing a follow-up live stream. And I thank her for that. And we will, I'm gonna end it here. I don't know, I'm getting tired, my throat hurts, and I'm a little surprised everybody wasn't like, oh my god, that door was locked, ah." A little disappointed in you all. Just kidding. Throat's starting to hurt. So I'm gonna go. Shenanigans is awesome. Thank you everybody for being here. Is there a pic of this mat? Yes, ma'am. All over YouTube now. Like pick a live, any live, you'll find it. And it's part of the picture of the blanket and the shirt. The mat is in the corner. So have a great night, everybody. Can't remember if I said anything about the donations. I've got somebody, I finally have somebody that's going to take all of the donation money, buy the turkeys and stuff that we need, and make sure they get to where they're going to go. We're going to do that in 7 days, 1 week. What day is it today? Is it Monday today? Is today Monday? Yeah, Monday. So let's try to, if we're going to donate, PayPal, e-transfer, we will get the shopping done, say, on Saturday. So Friday's cut off. We'll send the money Friday night. Thank you, Sky Painter. Sky Painter donated $100. So thank you, Sky Painter. Almost forgot. And thank you everybody else that's donated. So okay, we'll see you next time. Bye everybody.
We're going down the rabbit hole where it stops, no one knows. We're going down, going down. Do you dare to follow